Okay, so this time, due to popular demand, I did that little review on that free Memorex CD recorder with the turntable and a cassette deck, a cassette player built in. And of course, we were interested in how the CD recorded from a line input, which I think I answered that question pretty good. It records excellent. Today we're going to do just a simple comparison between that cheap record player and a Sony with a magnetic cartridge. I'll record the same thing both times, so let's check it out. Yesterday when I did a kind of an evaluation of this unit, when I tested the turntable, I neglected to release the turntable mechanism from the chassis. The screw that holds it in place for transport was still cranked down, which probably impaired the quality a bit. We're going to do a comparison this time. I'm going to record a couple tracks off this record, and then I'm going to record the same tracks, and I'll put on a good direct drive turntable in through a proper equalizer, and we'll record the same tracks so we can hear the difference in the sound quality between this unit and probably use my Sony. I think might use my Sony direct drive, but we'll try the same record. Unfortunately, I have to use this record just because anything else I've got is going to probably pull copyright, whereas this won't pull a copyright strike. So first things first, I'm going to clean the record, get my disc washer out, we'll clean the record, and then I'll play it through and record the first track anyway, and we'll do the same on the other turntable and take a listen to the difference in quality. So first, we'll clean the record with a good old disc washer. Get all that grime off the record. Alright, let's do a recording from this, and then I'll do a recording from the good, proper turntable, and we'll do a comparison between the two of them. And this is original. I've had this since probably 1980. Actually, it's probably a lot older than that. It's more like 1976. Made in USA. That's about the time I started collecting LPs. So the original one I've had for years. I've still got the cleaning fluid for it as well, which I used. Should sound a little better than the last time I tried recording this. So let's put it in record. And hit record and let it roll. this time I'm going to use my Sony. This is a PST-22, the one that I modified for 78 RPM playback with a little switch here. Watch the switch break now and it won't work. Hasn't been switched in so long that make sure it's still working. We're still locking in there right about the right speed. We'll just adjust it here. Got a pitch control here. We can adjust the speed on the strobe here so that it's not moving. Okay, I'm just going to do a calibration using a vacuum tube preamp with RIAA equalization. So I'm just going to check my levels and then we'll make the recording and we'll do the comparison between the two. Alright, so what do you think? Sound off in the comments. It's just going to be a quick one for that A-B comparison between the built-in cartridge and record player and this vintage old Sony from the 1980s. I know this record is not in great shape. It's been played a lot and it was never really cared for. This was my cousin played on this record and when he was in high school. It was in my grandmother's collection and that ended up in storage. And I just happened to find the thing, but it was never really cared for until I found it. And I haven't scratched it up since I dug it out and started using it for my test record. It was like that when it came out of storage, but for years it was just sitting in storage, stacked in with other records, so it's not in good shape. But at least it's one that I can play without fear of getting hit with copyright. I'd love to play some of my other records, but again, I'll just get hit with copyright. I'll get my video taken down, or the copyright owner will monetize it, which doesn't help me, so therefore I can't do it. Once the disc is finished, we can hit the finalize button and then press the play key, and this will finalize the disc so that it can be played on any CD player. Now, something I didn't point out on the prior video was once the disc has been finalized, if you're dealing with a CDRW, you can unfinalize it on this machine. So right now what it's doing is it's writing the table of contents, and it'll write the lead out at the end of the last track, which will stop any player from playing. So if you've got a disc that's got partial recording and you've deleted stuff and you've started a new disc and you've only recorded a few minutes and you finalize it, without that lead out track, of course, a CD player could, in theory, play the material beyond what was recorded. So what they do when you are finalizing is it adds several minutes of blank space after the last track, which tells any type of playback device that's playing it that it's reached the end of the recording, and therefore it will stop and won't read beyond that. And beyond that area of the lead out, there'll still be data from before. I'll show you the disc when it comes out. Then I'm going to rip the disc, take it in the house, rip it, and bring it back out here. We'll unfinalize it. I just want to show how to do that on this so that you can prep the disc for reuse again without having to do it. I mean, I could do it on my CD burner in my computer. I could erase it there, erase the entire disc. And that'll wipe the disc, but this one here you can actually unfinalize it and continue using it. So if we look at the bottom of the disc, you can see, here we go, you can see the session. So yesterday when I used this disc, try to get the light reflecting just right, you can see that the session went out as far as here. Today's session only went to there, and you can see the space. You can see that ring right around here. That's the lead out area. That's to tell the playback, any device that's playing it back, that that's where the recording ends. But there's still data that's recorded out here from yesterday's session that, if this lead out wasn't there, could conceivably be played. But this large lead out is what tells the drive that this is the end of the recording, without actually having to go and physically erase a sector. Now on a computer drive, you could go and do a full erase, which would overwrite everything. But when you erase a CD RW or a DVD RW for that matter, it just erases the table of contents and the data is left there to be overwritten when it's used again. Anyway, I'm going to take this and rip it, and then we'll bring it back and I'll show you how to erase the table of contents on this unit. I can place the disc back in the drive, select close. Now it's going to tell me that the disc itself is a regular CD. It's going to see CDRW, but there will not be an indicator saying that there's no table of contents showing up here. It just says it's CDRW. And it needs to show no table of contents so we can write anything. If I try to record, nothing's going to happen. But if I hit the erase button over here, and it asks me if I want to unerase the table of contents, I press the play stop or play pause key, and it's going to now unfinalize the disc. It takes a couple minutes, but then we'll see the no TOC will appear here, and it'll show me how many tracks is on there, and then I can go back into record and add more until the disc is full, which is kind of a neat feature of using rewritable disc media, is that you can keep adding to it until it's full. There we go. So now it says no table of contents. It's a CDRW. We've got 2 recordings, 2 tracks on here. We've used 6 minutes and 31 seconds of the disc total. I believe that's what that stands for. Track 1 and track 2. It's just the same track recorded twice. If I selected auxiliary and then hit the record button, it'll go in ready to record track number 3. As soon as I push the play pause button, it will start recording track number 3. So that's how you can continue using discs after you've recorded on them once, as you can remove the table of contents, and it will now read the data that's on the disc. If we look at the disc here, what the information would have been changed is down here in the table of contents area. Table of contents down here, the innermost tracks would have been erased so that we can reuse it and continue recording. So if I start another recording, it'll actually start in this blank section where it's been wiped. That will be where it starts recording and continue all the way out until the end of the disc till the disc is full. Anyway, that's how that works. Thanks for watching, and sound off in the comments as to which sounded better, the recording off of the internal or that. I'm sure that this is going to sound better, but again, it's a pretty bad condition record, so anything is possible. Thanks for watching.